If you had to focus on just one thing to build lasting habits, what would that be? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of consistency. This is the one thing that you need to focus on in order to build lasting habits. Let's get into it. Why is this important? Well, habits are the invisible architecture of our daily lives. Whether you realize it or not, habits, our actions, our behaviors make up 40% of our daily behaviors. Let that sink in for a second. That means that nearly half of the actions we're committing every single day are actions that we're not even thinking about. We're doing them on autopilot, they're secondhand nature. And it's an incredibly powerful thing to think about, because if you shine a light or turn your attention to these habits that we're doing repeatedly and automated, then we can try to design them so that they are better for our lives and so that they are more efficient or improve our lives in some way. In this video, I'm going to share 3 reasons why consistency will help you build lasting habits. Reason number 1 is that it helps build the neural pathways in your brain. Whenever you repeat an action or you learn something, there are neural connections that are formed inside of your brain. And the more often you do them, the stronger those connections become. Have you ever heard the phrase learning by doing is the best way to learn, learning through experience? Well, that's because as you're doing something with your hands or you're using your body in some way, actively learning, neural pathways are formed in your brain, and that helps you to remember the action. It's important to understand that being intense at something isn't necessarily going to ensure that you're going to build a lasting habit. If you want to build a habit of going to the gym, going hard in the gym isn't going to guarantee that you form a habit of going to the gym all the time. Rather, consistency will help you to form this habit, because once again, those neural pathways are being formed, and at some point it'll just be a part of who you are. When you get that trigger or that cue that you need to use your body or you need to move, then the routine will kick in. You go into the gym and then you'll exercise, you'll work out, and then you'll be able to experience that reward where you feel good about yourself and you're motivated to keep it going. It's important that we start with that first, because consistency helps you to build these long habits over time. It's not important that you go 0 to 100 or that you're using absolutely all the energy that you have. What's most important is that you're focusing on being consistent. Even on the days where you don't want to show up, it's important that you still do, whether it's for 5 minutes or for a few reps or whatever habit that you're trying to form, whatever it is, show up for yourself. Reason number 2 why consistency helps you to build lasting habits is because it helps to solidify your identity and to build self-trust. Now, this is one of the most favorite things I've ever learned in all of my research into habits. What it really comes down to is your identity. Do you identify as a person who goes to the gym? Do you identify as a person who is clean and organized? Do you identify as a person who always shows up for themselves? If you don't feel like you're this type of person, then that may explain why it's hard for you to build lasting habits. That may explain why you have a lot of motivation to start a new habit. You start it, and then a month later, you have already given up. The issue is that you don't see yourself as the person who does X behavior. And so by doing something over and over again consistently, you eventually begin to identify with the type of person that does. So if I want to start a habit of running 3 times per week, I'm going to ease into it very slowly. I'm not going to go 0 to 100. I'm going to focus on being consistent. And then I will eventually start to become that person. I will see myself as the person who runs 3 times per week, or wears the clothes that are associated with a runner, or a person who's using apps like Strava to track their running habits. Whatever it may be, you eventually become that person because you build trust over time with yourself, and you start to embody the characteristics, the qualities, and the actions of that type of person. Consistency helps you build the identity. The third and final reason why consistency helps you to build lasting habits is because it helps you to reduce decision fatigue. When you research into habits, you will inevitably learn that habits are a way that our brains try to help us make decisions more efficiently. By forming these neural pathways and by making actions feel like they're second nature, where we don't really have to make a choice anymore, we're saving energy for other important tasks. And so our brains are incredible in this way, in that they help us to automate these behaviors. Hence the reason why 40% of our actions are repeated daily, is so that we don't have to make the decisions constantly. We drain ourselves of the energy that we need for important tasks if we constantly had to make a decision for everything that we're doing every single day. So by doing something consistently, you form these neural pathways, you start to identify with the person who does these things, and then you no longer have to make the decisions to do these things. It becomes one beautiful, well-oiled machine, an automated system. And this is why I love habits so much. It truly makes me feel like I am living my life efficiently. I can focus on the things that actually matter to me. And if ever necessary, I can revisit these habits. I can determine if they're serving me well or if I can design them better and ultimately lead a better, healthier life for myself. On this YouTube channel, I try to help you design a life of purpose, and habits are the way to do that. And doing these things consistently is the way you do it best. I hope you're motivated to learn more about habits and to design better habits in your own life. Conveniently, I have an entire section of my YouTube channel dedicated to health and habits. I'll link a video right here about habits. Feel free to check it out. And please stay tuned for next week's video. Thank you.